Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and welcome to today's video. I hope you're having a good Saturday so far.
This doesn't mean we're friends, you know.
Right, so this is going to be a continuation of the previous video where I carried on talking about my trip to the US. I do realise that the first two parts have sort of been a bit slow, mainly because I've been talking about sort of side topics in addition to the actual trip itself. But today's video I'm going to get down to the nitty gritty. But just before we get into that, some general life stuff. Now, every year, well, I say every year, last year I set myself a challenge to see how long I could go without central heating, just because it's my first year, my first new house, and I just for the lulz, just wanted to see. And I pretty much lasted a long time. And then when I did get around to using the central heating, I sort of used it a bit too much, went a bit crazy. It was kind of funny because in the summer I used next to nothing in terms of electricity and gas, and then come autumn, winter, I used my electric heater, I put the central heating on like when it got really cold anyway, and my bill suddenly just went like from very low numbers to like quite high, not massively high, but like almost 4 times as much as what I was paying in summer at the height of winter. So that was kind of funny, and this year I decided to do the same thing again. And it's now halfway through December and I've only just turned on my central heating for the first time, and that's because last night it was so cold. I was walking home late last night, I mean really late, and it was so cold outside. Like there was frost on the floor and the cars were frosted over and everything, and I got home and I thought, screw it, tonight is the night I'm going to use central heating. So turned on for a little bit, and it's surprising, like just even increasing the temperature by a couple of degrees in the house, you really do feel the difference. I didn't even keep on for that long because I'm quite used to the cold right now. It's not a big deal for me, but it was just really cold last night, so I decided to turn it on. In terms of other life stuff, Christmas is less than 2 weeks away. It's mental. I can't honestly believe how we've got to this point. I remember seeing some decorations go up on sale like September in my local supermarket. I was really perplexed, if I'm honest with you, to see that, but it doesn't surprise me that every year the companies try and cash in earlier and earlier on Christmas, to the point where there'll probably be like a year-round seasonal aisle in all of our supermarkets. That's how stupid I think it's going to get one day. I remember seeing and thinking, oh, way too early. And October rolled around, and November, now December, and then we're literally 2 weeks away now, and it's crazy. Presents wise, I haven't bought myself anything this year. I did do a bit of shopping during Black Friday, bought a few things, bits and bobs. Bought a hard drive, some memory devices, SD card, flash drive, that sort of thing. Mainly for work, because I do a lot of obviously editing and stuff, and I move a lot of files around from here to there. So that's useful, and obviously recording gameplay as well, so it's good for storage. But the primary thing that I'm worried about at the moment is getting presents for my family. Now my parents, I think I'm pretty much covered. They didn't ask for anything this year. They specifically told me not to buy them anything, but I actually bought them 1 or 2 small things. Again, useful for around the house, so I'm looking forward to giving them those. My sister's a little bit tricky because she hasn't asked for anything in particular. Well, she mentioned 1 or 2 things, but they're expensive, and she knows I'm not going to get them, so there's no point in asking me to get them, and she can afford to get them herself. But I'm just trying to think of a meaningful gift. Last year I got her a couple of items because I knew she was going travelling. This year, I mean, yeah, she's still going travelling, but she's already got those items, so I don't really know what else to get her. So I'm still thinking about that. Time's pressing. If I'm going to place an online order, I've got to do it soon, probably by the end of this weekend. Any later than that, and I risk the presents not arriving at all before Christmas. So I don't want that to happen, obviously. So yeah, just same drama as every year, to be honest. Just thinking about presents and trying to buy them, and hoping that they arrive on time. And then, of course, trying to find something for myself, which maybe I would treat myself some honestly this Christmas. I don't know. I mean, as I said, I bought a few things already during Black Friday, so I don't want to overspend this year. Speaking of Black Friday, I haven't actually said, but I have actually bought Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And I bought it during one of the Black Friday offers because there was just a really good price going, and I couldn't say no to it. The reason why I haven't yet played it or touched it is because I'm still playing quite a lot of Fortnite. But the second reason is my PlayStation Plus subscription has actually run out, so I can't actually play online. And the game is, of course, online only. There's no I mean, you can play certain things offline, like zombie maps and stuff like that, but you can't. There's no campaign or anything. So I would have liked to have done a campaign walkthrough, posted to my channel. I would have enjoyed playing a campaign, but unfortunately there's no campaign whatsoever, and I wouldn't have paid full price for the game. I've said this to my friends a long time ago. I was going to wait for an offer price, and it just so happens that there was a really good one during Black Friday, so I stuck to my word and I did buy it, but I've yet to play it, I've yet to open it. And I mean, I've heard mixed reviews about it, so I probably won't return the game at this point. I will open it and I will keep it, even if it is terrible, but I'm hoping to get some mileage out of the game. I am conscious that Christmas is close, and Christmas means Christmas noobs, and it's a season where, well, I mean, as a gamer, you kind of want to take advantage of. So I'm looking forward to trying that. If and when I do start playing it, I will of course be streaming to my Twitch channel, and of course I'll be posting some footage to this channel as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Okay, so that's, I think, all the live stuff out of the way for now. So I'm just going to continue with my US trip, and in fact, no, there is something else I do want to talk about, but I'm going to save that for a Fortnite video because it's more related to that than it is to do with Uncharted. Yeah, so that video will probably come up next week sometime. Yeah, so back to my US trip. So last week we talked about how I got lost in San Francisco. I managed to figure my way out of it in the end. This week we continue with the rest of the stories. So yeah, we only stayed in San Fran for a couple of days, and then after that we drove down to LA. That's where the wedding was going to take place. My cousin's wedding venue was at a private vineyard or something. Apparently they do a lot of weddings and stuff, and it was really nice. But anyway, let's just backtrack a little bit. So we drove down to LA. It was about 6 hours in the car, and funnily enough, the last time I went to America 20 years ago with my family, we also drove down to LA to visit other family. But this time round we drove down for the wedding, and again we did visit those family as well. So yeah, it was kind of weird, funny weird, like we did almost the same journey we did last time, for different reasons obviously. And the weather down in LA is hot. Like in San Francisco I described it as like a hot summer's day in the UK. But down in LA, it was hot. As soon as we got out of the car, no air conditioning, it was absolutely roasting. Like, just dry heat. Again, coming from a country like the UK where the climate is pretty much the same wherever you go in a given day, the fact that it was that temperature in San Fran and driving down to LA and it was just a completely different climate, it was kind of strange. I mean, we adjusted to the heat eventually, but it was hot though. It was hot in the sun. Obviously, we didn't linger too much. And as I said, I'm not really a heat sort of person, so I sort of struggled a little bit, but it was okay. You got used to it after a while. It was manageable, and everywhere we went, obviously there was aircon and stuff, so it wasn't that bad walking, you know, from the car to the building or whatever, just temporarily. So my aunt had booked out a couple of hotel rooms for us all stay in, and the other thing that kind of gets me when traveling with other people is that I like my sleep. I really like my sleep, and I value my sleep. Like, if I don't get a good night's sleep, I'm going to be cranky as hell, and you do not want to be around me when I'm cranky. And unfortunately, when you're room sharing and stuff, you know, people have different sleeping patterns, different behaviors, and the worst thing of all is some people snore, and some people snore really loud. I don't snore, I don't think, as far as I know. I'm quite a quiet sleeper, and I appreciate the silence when I'm sleeping. Like, if you're making noise and shit, I struggle to sleep and I get annoyed about it, which makes me less likely to sleep better, which therefore just exacerbates the situation. So that's the thing that sort of gets me the most. If I end up traveling in the future, I would probably pay the extra just get my own room, because yeah, I'm not a fan of room sharing and stuff. I put up with it because I didn't pay for the hotel. Obviously my aunt took care of that for the wedding, but I think, yeah, definitely, if I was traveling in future, even if I was traveling with friends or whatever, I'd probably have to sort out arrangements myself, because, yeah, not a fan of sharing when it comes to disturbing my sleep. That's a big no-no. So yeah, we got settled. We arrived, I think, 2 days before the wedding. So the very next day, we had like a day to kill, and then the wedding was the day after that. So obviously we didn't do much really. We got there kind of late in the afternoon, early evening. Went out to eat, came back, just rested, and then the next day we didn't do too much special. We ventured out to the local shops and stuff like that. And you might not think it, but even going to like a supermarket, it's different to the UK, right? So you see like the fruit and the veg stacked up in a certain way, and they have like little sprays to keep them fresh. You just don't see it in the UK, mainly because the weather doesn't really warrant that sort of a setup for the fruit and veg. But I think it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. Like in America, they really like to present stuff. And even things like having displays and stuff. It was coming up to Halloween at that point, so they had some really nice Halloween stands with like Halloween decorations and stuff everywhere you went. So McDonald's, and it was just, yeah, it was just really interesting. You don't really see that in the UK because Halloween's huge in America. They bloody love it over there, right? Whereas I'm not a fan, and to be honest, I'd rather they keep it over there. So it was just weird seeing that. And the other thing that was really annoying, and I was aware of because I've experienced this before in the past, is that when you buy stuff in a store in America, you get a base price, right? But then you go to the till, you put it through, and then you get tax put on. And coming from the UK, where tax VAT is already included in the base price, so when you see a price on the label in the UK, you go to the supermarket or whatever, you pay that at the till, that's it, end off. Whereas in America, let's say something costs $1, you go to the till, it's $1 something else because of the tax. And I was talking to my aunt about this, and she explained that the reason why they add tax on separately is because the tax that can be put on to the product at the end of the transaction varies by state. So they can't build it into the base price of the product because it varies from state to state. So it could be $1.20 somewhere and then $1.15 somewhere else, and that's why they do it separately. But it's really annoying because you go to the till, and obviously we were in California still, so the tax would have been the same whether it was in Cali or LA. But if we were to go to another state entirely, the tax might be different. So you can't even sort of preempt what the price is going to be for these products that you're looking to pay for. And in the UK, whenever I do very small shops, I live by myself, so I don't need to buy a lot of stuff. I do that sort of a quick calculation in my head, and I know how much I need to pay. So I've got the money ready. I put it through bank, give it the cash, and I'm done. I'm out of there. Whereas in America, I tried to do that, but because of the tax, you sort of think, well, I don't know what it's going to be. Just here, just take it, give me the change, right? So it's just little things like that, which is weird. The other thing that's kind of novel as well about the hotels is obviously they all have swimming pools. Well, most of them have swimming pools. That's nothing amazing, nothing special. But every hotel has like designated ice machines, and you might have seen these in the movies and stuff. And I remember 20 years ago when I went and we stayed in hotels, I would always fill up the ice bucket. Every room as well, by the way, has an ice bucket. And even if we didn't drink, like I don't really drink anything in the hotel room, but it was just nice to have ice on tap. I think every floor has an ice machine or something like that. In the hotels, that's how it works, and it's just novel. Like in the UK, I've not recalled staying at a hotel where there's been an ice machine. When I've been to other countries as well, I've not recalled that, unless it's a hot country, I suppose. But like most of the European countries, I don't think they have ice machines because people just don't use them, as far as I know. There wasn't a balcony in our hotel, but we sort of had a few rooms next to each other. So we had this like hallway which actually opened up because it was actually a closed hallway. It was exposed to the elements, but there was like a covering over the top. So we sort of had this like little walkway section which we just chilled in. We pulled a couple of the chairs out and we just sat and watched the sun go down. And it was a really warm evening. We bought some drinks and stuff from the supermarket. So we had some chilled drinks, some ice cubes as well. So anyway, that ends our first night in LA, and unfortunately that's all the time I've got for in this video today, so I'm going to have to pick it up in the video next week. We will, I promise you, be talking about the wedding next week. Right, so as per usual, if you did enjoy the content, do consider tapping the like button, I really do appreciate it. And as always, if you've got any thoughts, try to share me regarding anything I've talked about today or anything you've seen in the gameplay, do let me know in the comment section below, I'd be interested to hear it. But until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take care, and I will see you later.
And now it's hard to breathe.